Well, let's continue with this now, and we link up with Newzroom Africa's international correspondent, Simon Marks, who joins us now from Paris, and he talks to us now. Simon, good evening to you. The understanding is that you are now outside the South African embassy in France. Let's go back to that conversation you had earlier with the wife of the late ambassador. She was telling you earlier that it's the first time that she's had a good night's sleep. Well, perhaps good is not quite the correct reflection, but that she has had at least one restful night. Reflect for us on why she believes that has been the case since this happened.
Well, absolutely right, Golly. That is exactly what she told me this morning, shortly after her brother, Dr. Sfiso Buthelezi, arrived here in Paris. He is with her, by her side. She described his arrival as a great comfort to her. Where I'm standing right now is actually right outside the South African ambassador's official residence. You can see the flag just flying there behind me. And this is the location from which Ambassador Nathi Mthethwa departed on Monday afternoon at around 4:30, saying goodbye to his wife inside the building and saying that he was heading to a cocktail party. But of course, as we know, tragically, he never arrived at that cocktail party. Instead, went to the Hyatt Regency Paris Étoile, checked into a room on the 22nd floor of the building, and then some hours later, we don't exactly know at what time, plunged to his death from the 22nd floor, landing in an interior courtyard within the building. Now, Mrs. Mthethwa this morning, first of all, when she spoke to me, wanted to convey thanks to everyone in South Africa who has reached out and offered condolences and sympathies to her and to the rest of the family. Her focus today, along with her brother, has very much been in trying to secure the death certificate for Ambassador Mthethwa from the French authorities. There is a process that is underway in parallel with the investigation into the ambassador's death. The body is in a government mortuary. An autopsy is being carried out, a post-mortem is being carried out, and they were hoping earlier today that they would receive the death certificate. We're going to find that out in the next hour or so when we get another chance to speak with family members here at the ambassador's residence. Once they have that death certificate, they can then formally, they think, begin the process of planning the repatriation of Ambassador Mthethwa's remains. That is a complicated process. It also involves, of course, staff at the South African embassy here in Paris and representatives of DIRCO back in South Africa. So they were thinking this morning that it might not be until Monday or Tuesday before they're actually ready to fly the ambassador's remains back to South Africa for funeral services there. Dr. Buthelezi himself said that in the 72 hours since the ambassador's death had occurred, his disappearance was first reported and then the death had occurred, the family had suddenly entered what he called a crazy, crazy world. As first of all, Mrs. Mthethwa had raised the alarm with police. They arrived here at the residence. They took her to a police station. She speaks fluent French, was able to communicate with them, and according to her brother, that was critical in terms of raising the alarm early and making it clear that there was a problem. The police then dropped her back at the residence, but they also entered the building and conducted a search of it because they thought it was possible. It's a substantial building, as you can see behind me. They thought it was possible that perhaps he was just somewhere in the residence and hadn't been located. Once they were satisfied that he was not present in the residence, then they began a broader search, which led them ultimately to the Hyatt Regency Paris Étoile Hotel, into which, of course, we now know that the ambassador had checked in. They have recovered, the police, CCTV footage captured in that hotel, and nothing that they've seen on that footage is leading them to conclude that this was anything other than an intentional act, the ambassador choosing to take his own life. They've seen no evidence whatsoever of foul play, and the family here in that building behind me say that they are grateful to the police. They say the investigation has been professional, that they have been very respectful of Mrs. Buthelezi Mthethwa's grief and shock over the sudden loss of her husband, and they are indicating absolutely no intention of pushing back or questioning the outcome of this investigation, which inexorably is heading towards a conclusion that the ambassador did take his own life.
A very difficult time for the Mthethwa family. Indeed, Simon, thank you very much talking to us live from outside the South African Embassy in France. I'm sure we'll talk to Simon a little later in the evening. And just a reminder to you that we are scheduled to talk to Mrs. Mthethwa's brother, who is in France with her at this time. Dr. Sifiso Buthelezi will be in conversation with us in the next hour.